not. Okay, this is going to be interesting. Okay. You ready to go? Okay. Mega Man came out in 1987 for the Nintendo Entertainment System, okay? And since then, it's sold more than 30 million copies worldwide to make it one of Capcom's most profitable franchises of all time. This is Mega Man X, which came out for the Super Nintendo, and many consider it to be one of the best Mega Man games ever. So it's one of the best games and one of the best-selling franchises, okay? Both games, Radar and Screw Attack, named this the 8th best SNES game of all time, and GameSpro took it a step further and said that this is the 8th best 16-bit video game of all time. So suffice it to say, the game is amazing, and I just thought I'd share a little bit of this awesomeness with you guys. So today, I'm going to outline the basic approach or the basic steps on how to complete a level in Mega Man. This is basically comprised of three main things. The first thing is overcoming individual enemies. The second thing is learning how to use the skills and abilities that the game gives you. And the third is defeating bosses. So we'll jump right into it with Chill Penguin stage right here. Chill Penguin stage is a very good stage to talk about overcoming obstacles because there are a clump of enemies right at the beginning of Chill Penguin stage, and it kind of shows you what I'm talking about. So as you start the stage, and you're going forward right at this part right here, if you just run forward, which is basically kind of different from like a Super Mario game or a Donkey Kong Country game, you're basically gonna die immediately. So right after this bunny, there's a whole section of stuff right clumped together. And I kind of show you what I'm talking about. If you go over here, there's this guy, and there's the, like a guy with an axe, and there's a bunny, and there's so much stuff happening, right? Okay, so that's the incorrect way to do it. So now, hopefully, I'm gonna head back over here and show you the method that I kind of figured out to do it. Now, hopefully everything will go on. I don't embarrass myself. So let's see what happens. Get rid of him and then shoot down. That works. Okay, that's kind of the strategy that I found. Get to that point, jump on top of that, shoot the bee, at which point the woodcutter is going to hit the thing, jump, so you avoid the woodcutter thing, shoot those guys, and then jump over. Now, it may seem like a lot of stuff in a short amount of time, but that's literally what I have to do. And if I don't do that, you just end up getting hit. That's what I mean about formulating a strategy. You just have to figure out exactly what has to be done so that you can clear the stage and not get hit. That's what I mean in terms of formulating a strategy. So, stop it, buddy. Okay, so that's the first part. The second part, when I'm talking about in using the skills and ability that the game gives you, later on in the same level, you get what is known as a dash ability. This is what dash is. Dash is the ability to just go much quicker. You also have wall jump and stuff like that. When I mean how you have to learn and use the skills and ability that the game gives you, if you see in the top ledge corner over there, you're like, oh, that's a pretty cool ledge. I wonder if I can reach that. So if you just try to jump over it to it, using the normal jump that you start the game with, you're like, yeah, I'm going to make it. I didn't make it. Well, the reason you didn't make it is that you didn't use the ability that the game gives you. However, if you use dash and jump at the same time, oh snap, now you can make it to areas that you couldn't previously reach. This game is amazing. So you see what I'm talking about. If you use the skills that the game gives you, it allows you to expand the stuff that you're able to do. In this case, it's added traversal elements, but the ability to approach enemies, the ability to evade enemies, all of those things differentiate depending on the skills and abilities that the game gives you. I also like the fact that the first time it shows you this, it's like in a safe area. Notice this is snow. This is not like lava down here. But if it was like lava, you have to, if you miss the jump, you would just die. I just kind of like the fact that the first time it introduces a gap this wide, it's in a safe place. And that's what I'm talking about with learning how to use the skills and abilities that the game gives you. Now, the last one is how to defeat bosses. A standard or a staple in Mega Man titles is at the end of every stage is what is known as a boss character. And the boss character all have what is known as an RNG. RNG means random number generator, which means that they have a set number of attacks, but the order that they do the attacks in, what attacks they do, and the number of times they do those attacks are all random. So once you start a stage, you just have to quickly adapt to the 4, 5, or 6 attacks that the bosses do, and quickly evade it based on what they do. This boss right here is Chill Penguin. Chill Penguin only has 4 attacks. Okay, and I think once you see what's happening, it'll be easier to understand. If he does one of those 4 attacks, you basically just have to counteract it. When he zigs, you zag. Okay, so he has this spinning ice thing. That's the first attack he does. He's also what I call like a ground-based boss. So because of that, I'm gonna stay high. He also has this. Crap, I missed that. He also has the attack where he spits ice at you. So that was one cycle he just did. Let's see what he'll do. He started another cycle where he's spitting ice balls at you. So let's stay up here to make sure I don't get hit. And he's just started another cycle where he's spitting ice balls. Once again, it's all random. Let's see, hopefully he'll jump. So, nope, he's gonna, maybe I'll mix this up and go over there. I just want to see if he does one more thing. Okay, good, he switched the cycle up. Now when he jumps on the ground, you have to wait for his moment of weakness to shoot him, because if you shoot him early, the shots are just going to bounce off of him. Whoop. That's what I'm talking about in terms of cycle. And then once you have that, it's literally just a case of seeing which attack he does and cycling through the, let's see if I can make this without missing crap, without getting hit. Okay, that's okay. I'll wait for him to go over there. So that's essentially what I mean. A lot of bosses kind of jump all over the stage. Chill Penguin is nice in that he stays on the floor, so I generally like to stay high in these levels. That should be it. Good. I generally like to stay high in the level because he doesn't like cling to the walls or anything like that, but because he tends to stay on the floor, that's why I stay away from him. And essentially, that construct is how you beat every single boss in Mega Man. He only has 4 or 5 or 6 attacks. You just have to see which one he does, instantly adapt to what he's doing, and then figure out a way to kind of sneak in, get the hit, and then jump back out. And with that is basically how you defeat every level in the Mega Man. It changes, obviously, as you get different abilities and skills, but those 3 things, learning how to avoid individual enemies, learning how to use the skills and abilities that you're given in the game to expand what you're able to do, and then formulating a strategy of attack against end bosses. If you do those 3 things, you can beat any Mega Man game. I hope you had fun, and I hope you learned something. Thank you.
All right, Michael, I thought that you forcefully started the speech with a nice fact and a visual to get our attention. Your goals clearly stated. You have an excellent preview of what you're going to try and accomplish. There's some background material that you use to pull us in, and then you start to show us exactly what to do. And the demonstration part is fine. I think that it worked pretty effectively. Once in a while you had a little bit of trouble, but it was something that was easily handled, and clearly you know what you're doing when you're playing the game, and you explain the game, I think, effectively while you're showing us at the same time. It's not going so fast that we can't see what it is you're talking about. Sometimes the sequencing, like you said, is a little bit awkward. You got into that one sequence there at the end where the guess the boss
Yeah.
is doing the same thing
He was
3 or 4
cycling,
times and
yeah.
cycling in the same order, and you don't really have a lot of control over that. So that gets to be a little bit of a drag. But other than that, I thought that the integration of the game was done pretty effectively. The biggest problems with it is that because you have to stand over to the side to operate the controller, you're really kind of out of focus of most of the audience. The audience is going to be looking at the screen a lot, and you're kind of off to the side. They may remember to look over at you occasionally, but they're going to be distracted by that screen, of course. I think you had a few gestures and facial expressions that fit in with what you're talking about, but they tended to be things that I'm only seeing from the side because you are also having to look at the screen to be able to do what you're talking about. So that's a little bit of a complication, and it's one of those things that, you know, I don't know how you quite get through all of that without having multiple video projectors. For instance, if you had a screen in front of you that you were playing and then it was just projecting behind you, maybe it wouldn't be as big a deal. If you watch some of those introductions of technology, like Steve Jobs used to do it, but other people still do the same kind of thing. They come out with the new iPhone or the new iPad, or, you know, here's some new fantastic thing, and they're sitting there doing the thing on the screen, but you're seeing it all on a giant screen behind them, so it doesn't seem quite as detached in what's going on, and so the focus is still on the speaker rather than just on what's going on the screen. And so I thought, you know, under the circumstances, it's just a little complicated to do. Did you do a pretty good job at it? Yes, you did. I thought that was okay. But because the controller's over there and because you have to be over there off focus a lot of the time, I think that takes away. Your voice, I think, remains calm and smooth the whole time that you're speaking, and I think it's interesting to listen to you explain these concepts, and you show them pretty effectively. So I think if you were introducing somebody to this game and you're trying to show them what to do and give them a couple of strategies, it would have been pretty clear.
Oh.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.